You've obviously got a new album out. Well, it's the Bixen album, isn't it? Obviously, the Bixen gig you did last year.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Can I just, I know we could talk about that. I don't want to just throw you sort of questions, which is just, they're going to be like standalone questions, but I want to just let it flow. But if you don't mind me asking, with the Brixton gig, then when you went on the stage, can you describe the moment when you went out? I mean, was it so when you saw how packed it was?
Yeah, okay. Well, Liam Gallagher actually rocked up like just kind of before we went on, and he was chilling side of the stage. And I didn't know that. And he was there with his kids and a bunch of people. And I was like, just as I was like, I'm already fucking nervous enough,
Yeah.
Just as I'm fucking walking on, he turns around, he stops me, and he goes, "Good luck, mate." And I'm going, "Fucking hell, dude!" Like it just added like a whole other level of like, like I was cool, but if I was nervous before, like fuck, it doesn't help, when like one of your idols is just like standing right there, staring at you. But that was cool, but that really kind of threw me off a bit because you're getting in the zone and then that happens and you're like, fuck. Like I remember even starting the song and I was playing the wrong chord because I was just going, fuck.
Really?
It was like just almost too much to take in. And then that happened. But also I remember standing just before we went downstairs, someone said, "Man, the fucking vibe down there, it's like a football game."
Yeah.
And I'd never heard anyone describe like a gig like as like a sporting match. They're like the energy down there, man. It's like fucking, it's like something on like Premier League energy. And I was like, that kind of got us pretty excited because it was just heaving and like, we've never played a gig with that kind of energy that far south.
Okay.
It's usually when we get that kind of feedback from the crowd, it's like, somewhere up north, but
yeah.
I think there was a lot of Northerners there, but to get that kind of energy, so to feel that kind of energy in the room just before we went on in London is something that I thought that would never happen.
Okay.
So that was a really nice feeling as well. Luckily, we'd done a gig the night before as well. We did because there was all those Australian bushfires going on at the time. Remember that? Yeah. Everyone was doing all these bushfire gigs, and we thought, "Fuck, let's go over to England." Or go to UK, go to London, do a bushfire relief gig there, and then grab all the money and take it back to Australia. No, they are. So we were like pretty prepared, like that added like another. That was quite comforting for us as well because sometimes you go over just for these one-off things because it was kind of a one-off thing. It wasn't a part of a tour or anything.
Yeah.
So that would have been pretty nerve-wracking, but I think that the fact that we'd done that little gig before at the university, the exact same set list, exactly the same how we were going to run it, helped us, helped calm the nerves a little bit.
I think you just mentioned before about it was a London gig and not a Northern gig. But obviously, as you know, it's probably only an hour and a half train ride or 2 hour train ride from up north anyway to London. But many people from the north actually live in London because they leave university and the first place they want to go to make a career is, as you know, London. So there'd be so many Northerners living down. I mean, I lived in London myself. I'm from up north. When I lived in London, I don't not anymore. But when you're young, you just want to go to the bright lights, big city. Whereas I know your capital's Canberra, and Canberra's maybe not the.
Oh yeah, mate, we had to fucking. We actually had to quarantine. We were doing some gigs up in Brisbane, a month or so ago, and we had to quarantine in Canberra for 2 weeks. Like we could have gone to Brisbane in Queensland and stayed in a hotel for 2 weeks, or go to Canberra and you can still walk around Canberra. You can do like daily Canberra shit for 2 weeks, and then you can go to Brisbane. So we thought Canberra's not the best place, but we'll go. Just because we had to in order to get to Brisbane. But I mean, I liked it. You know what I mean? Like, I talked a lot of shit on Canberra before that trip. Like, everyone just fucking... But I guess once you were there, I don't think I'd want to be there for any longer than 2 weeks.
Okay.
But, we would... I think because it's quite like it's like where all the parliament and shit is.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, because they have a lot of visitors because of, like, politics and shit, there has to be, like, some pretty nice places to go, like restaurants and shit.
Yeah.
So, like, impress foreign diplomats and shit. So it's an okay place, but fucking no longer than 2 weeks.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
all embassies.
Yeah, it's all embassies and shit. But yeah, very different. London and Canberra are 2 very different places.
Yeah. And just getting back to the Brixton gig quickly, there were a few notable gems were not on the set list that night, such as Warsaw, on the song For Now. Was there any reason why they weren't on there? I mean, it's just because I know you've got so many bloody songs, you could probably, is it just because that's what it was, between the three of you? Another question, I guess, would be who chose the set list? Was it the three of you? And obviously, with them 2 exceptions, like I mentioned, were they going to be on there, or did you sort of just pull them, or what? I mean, how did you go around sort of selecting it?
So it's basically just Tommy, man. Like he's got like a 16-song limit.
Okay.
That's like his personal rule. He's always gone. He just doesn't like playing more than 16 songs. I think an hour and 15, hour and 20 is like the limit. But like, I would be happy to fucking go all night. I could do like a Bruce Springsteen level fucking gig that went for 3 hours if it was up to me. And so would Johnny. But I think Tommy, his voice kind of does lose a bit of its power after like an hour.
Yeah.
So I think it's just because he's a fucking wuss, I guess. And I think our drummer runs out of fucking fuel pretty. Oh, he's all right. He's all right. I think we're thinking of our drummer Liam, but it's mainly Tommy. Yeah, he doesn't want to do too many tracks, and I get that. But I get that on a tour. Like if you're playing every night for like a month.
Yeah.
Sure, but it was a one-off gig. I was like, "Fuck, man, let's play some more songs." He goes, "Nah, man, we're not doing any more than 16." Which so I guess there's only so many songs you can play, and some don't make it. I would have loved to play Warsaw. We used to open with For Now. Like we did a tour where we opened with For Now. That was crazy. So we love playing those songs. But I think that there's going to be like when we tour the next album, when we can tour the UK again, we're going to be adding more songs from the Glow as well. So there's going to be even more songs that can't make it.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a few more casualties, I reckon.
Yeah. People moaning about, but the thing is that you've got so many good songs, and it's in a position where you are. I mean, 3 albums in. I mean, you can probably shout off probably all the tracks from each album, and everyone's got their favorites, but to have 3 standout albums, so I mean, you released 2016, 2018, 2020, so only like 2 years between them, but I presume with the first album you had the songs written, way before that, and obviously you tinkered with them for the first album. But when you moved from the first album to the second, was that case you had that 2-year window, or did you sort of incorporate some of the songs? I think I've read some of that. You did have some songs that you had written before that did make it onto the
yeah,
but not all of them.
There's for some reason there's always a mix of new and old songs. Like there's a song called Round and Around on the Glow that was recorded for Hills End, and we also recorded it again for Now, and those versions of that same song were no good. So I think that some of the songs, like all of Hills End, I think that was probably over a 7-year gap that we composed those songs. As you said before, a lot of people's first albums is and then the second album, but I think on For Now most of it was written, but like there's a song called Tape Deck Sick, which is on For Now, and that was written, like I wrote that in 2006.
Oh gosh, okay.
So it's like, so it's like there's some songs that are like really old. I think it's always a mix of new and old songs, but we've never really felt that pressure that some bands feel. You only have 2 years to write an album because we just have so many songs between us. And also songs that don't make an album, but then the next album they will make it. And I don't really know why that is. I think it's just because people's taste changes. Like the songs are always good, but they might just not suit the band at that very particular time. So we've got like probably 100 songs that are just that could go on any album at any time at the moment.
Yeah.
That are just sort of sitting there waiting for the perfect moment to be plucked. So we've never really felt that pressure to write songs quickly, because, you know, when we started the band, like we were like in our early 20s, so we've been writing songs for so long already, you know. And there's a couple songs on The Glow that were written like 10 years ago. So it's like, I feel like we always mix a little bit of what we've just written, and luckily we've got such a big collection of songs from the past that we can always just sort of dip into if we need to. Then we can just, like, if we wanted to right now, we could probably release 2 albums worth of songs that we just have sitting there. So we're never really that stressed out about it.
It's a good place to be. I mean, you know, a lot of bands, a lot of musicians, you know, soul singers or whatever, they'll concentrate on getting that one debut album, and they've been writing it for years and years. You know, a lot of them say since they were kids. I mean, early kids. I'm talking about when they're 11 or 12. You start thinking, okay, bit of bullshit. But, you know, I mean, maybe 13, 14, 15, 16, you sort of develop it. But I can understand from 15 onwards, yes. But for yourselves, you've been writing consistently. You know, you kept writing. And it's proof that you should always keep writing, because, you know, a lot of people, like I said, they will concentrate on getting that one debut and then forget all the songs they've written. But it's proof, you know.
Yeah, that's the key. Just keep writing. Like, there was one point when I said that I'd write 1 song a day. I don't do that anymore, but there was one when I was doing that. And our label head, the head of Infectious, his name's Marshall. Every time he doesn't really party. Oh, he does party that much. Well, every time we meet up, we end up having a couple of drinks, and I remember him always just leaning over my shoulder, just going, "Keep writing, man." Like, because he's been in the industry for so long, he goes, that's the one thing I just tell people. Just write.
Yeah.
Never stop. Because, you know, the song might be shit, but fuck, in 3 years' time, the song might not be shit. You know, it might be great then.
Yeah, I mean, you might just need to add something else.
Change, so it's like, just keep writing, and you know, every song will have its time, I guess. But yeah, he has always instilled that in us, and we always take his advice. So yeah, we've actually been writing quite a lot for other people at the moment, like writing for ourselves and doing sessions with other songwriters and singers, which has been quite validating, and it's very satisfying when you have like a beautiful singer sing a song that you've written, which is something that we've experienced with Tommy for 8 years now. But when you're working with other people, like other pop singers and other musicians, and they, you know, are branching out and writing songs for other people, so it's like, not only are we writing enough songs for us, but we're kind of branching out and doing a lot of writing with other people too, which has been really satisfying.
Which artists are we talking about? Are we talking just like different genres and things like that, or, you know?
Yeah, a lot of I can't say the artists, because that's like nothing's been released yet. It's kind of like, it's a new thing for us, but we've been doing a lot. But I guess you'll see when it gets released. I don't know if I'm just going to play it safe. I've said things in interviews before and not known, and then gotten in heaps of trouble. So I'm just
no, it's fine, man. It's just I wasn't sure, because I know I didn't find anything when I did some research, so that's why I was asking in case I missed something. But
no. Yeah. I don't know. Well, they also might just not use it as well, so I don't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's true.
Let's be realistic. That's what I'm saying.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, we've just been doing heaps of that, and yeah, I guess just writing a lot. It's just like something we like to do, and it's something that I do to let off steam. And, you know, I'm not much of a lyricist, so I don't I don't express myself through lyrics. But you know, if I write like a nice melody, that can make me feel so much better that day or something like that. So you know, it's something that we do. It's like it's a job too, but it's, you know, obviously, like, it's just it's a way to unwind. So it's luckily for us, it's not a chore.
Can I just go ask you about yourself then? You also, when they write the music, and know it's a 3-way thing, isn't it? When you write the music, is that right?
Yeah, 100%.
But I know that the other two maybe built up on, and I'm not going to mention the word Britpop more than once. I sort of mentioned it, but they were.
Yeah, yeah,
But you know what I mean. I don't want to, because I know that everyone uses that bloody word when they're describing your band. I'm not going to say it again. But you weren't grew up on that. You grew up on American music, didn't you? A big fan of
yeah.
American.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. My introduction to the world that we are now very much a part of was when I met Tommy.
Yeah.
So like I know that Johnny's old man is from London.
Right.
And so he was, and his father worked in the music industry as a roadie for years and years. So he was brought up on all kinds of different music, but UK music. Whereas I was more brought up on like Americana style of music, folk music, country, and stuff like that. And I guess the closest thing that I would listen to like UK bands was just kind of like the Stones and like Eric Clapton and stuff, which is like they're English, but it's not, there's like it's not like it's not English like you get like the Verve and the Stone Roses and stuff. Like that stuff is just like I wasn't really that aware of that world. But I feel like it all comes from the same place. Like a lot of the melodies and that kind of thing, they're all kind of interchangeable. So I knew it. I didn't really know it, but I kind of did. Like it was something that I could very easily. It didn't take long for me to figure it out, I suppose, and I just instantly fell in love with that whole world. And the fact that Tommy was so obsessed with it, and we became very close friends. It's when someone that you really like something, and then it really just you just go, well, that must be good, and it helps you sort of latch onto it.
Yeah.
So I just instantly kind of fell in love with that world, but it was all very new to me, like around age 23, 24. So it was like quite late for me to discover that world. But yeah, I still think that if you write a song, like a country song, and then sing it with like kind of like a British accent, it's like a Britpop song. I swear. And I swear if you take a Britpop song and sing it with an American accent, it's like a country song.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah. So it's like, and that rule isn't, obviously that's like probably a pretty silly thing to say, but it does make sense.
Yeah.
And so like when I would write the songs that I write in like an American accent, like a country accent that I sing in, and then Tommy would sing them, people are going, you're writing songs like this, you're writing songs like Oasis and this and that. And I'm going, well, that's just not true, because I didn't even listen to those bands when I wrote those songs. So how could that be true? But I think that it's not far off. But yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, I kind of grew up listening to American music, but it's not all that different.
And would you say then, as a band, is there pressure there that, I think you've got your style now. I mean, obviously 3 albums in, you found your style. And you might tinker with a few sort of tracks and maybe experiment. I mean, that's what I need to use. But is the pressure there now that knowing you know what your fan base is, you know what the fans want, you know what you don't want to piss them off. Well, I won't say piss them off, but you don't want to go off on such a strange tangent that you've got to call your way back. You know what I mean? I know I can mention bands, but I don't want to, because I know bands have done that, big bands.
Yeah,
and I've had interviews with so many big bands like yourself, but I don't want to mention them here. But
yeah.
And they've had to go back to, I won't say back to basics, but back to what the fans want. But do you as a trio, do you sort of feel pressure there, because you know what the fans are after?
Well, it's funny that you say that. I don't know if you've seen, like, we're very, very aware of that, and I can't speak on that at the moment, but I can say that we're very aware of that, and we know that we still very much love the music that we first made.
Yeah.
So we have no issue doing it again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when the question was asked, would you ever do that again? Well, we go, of course. We love all that stuff. So like we changed a little bit, but not that much, but enough for people to be like, oh, you've changed and that kind of thing, which I get. But I can say that we're very aware of that, and we have been very productive
Mm.
in our off time that we can't tour, and that's all I can say.
Right.
But yeah, we do feel the pressure there, and we don't want to disappoint people. And the people that are saying that are the people that had been fans of ours since the beginning.
Mm.
So if you were going to appease to anybody, it should be them, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So I feel like it's only fair to reciprocate that. And yeah.
It's a two-way thing, though, isn't it, Race? You know, it's a two-way thing. You
Yeah.
know, it's you and the fans and you. Well, you three.
Yeah, 100%. We love our fans, and we don't want to. We certainly don't want to leave anyone hanging, and we certainly don't want anybody that was a fan to not be a fan. So we're going to sort of hopefully sort of please. We're gonna do something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, I know you want to say something, but you can't. So that's fine. That's fine, man.
No,
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine, man. Honestly, it's fine. I had this every time I do an interview. I always get the artist or the actor or whatever, and I ask them certain questions, and they get to the point where they've just done what you did. They're like, they want to say something, but they can't. But it happened about 4 last week, so don't worry. Honestly, it's fine. I'll
yeah. So you get it. Yeah.
All right, don't worry. So with the album that's coming out, you know, obviously the Vixen gig, was that always the plan to release it, or as an album? Was that just because of COVID, and you thought you just get?
Well, yeah, that's because we recorded it because we just thought, like, this is going to be a pretty big gig, and we were in the studio getting ready for the show. Like, there's some aspects of that live performance that we'd never done before. Like we took that opportunity for such a big gig that had sold out, and that we were going to go there. It's one-off thing. We thought, let's get some good. Let's expand our team, and let's bring in other people and really get this live show to the next level. You know, we bought a bunch of new equipment. We did maybe a week's long of rehearsals, just learning how to use new stuff and bringing in extra elements. Yeah, so wait, what was the question again?
Oh, I was going to say, was it always the intention to?
So that's right. So we had all these new elements in, and we thought we should just record this because we were trying out a bunch of new things, and we thought, let's record it just so that we can watch it back and know if it was shit or not. Something that I don't think enough bands do. I think every band needs to do that every now and then. Record the gig, record it well, just so that you can watch it, because so many people get up on stage, they thrash it out, and they don't actually know what the fuck just happened. You know, people go, that was great and stuff, but they don't, it's hard to know, and you can record the audio, but sometimes that's not good. And so it's like, let's just do it really well. So we've got it. And we didn't really plan on releasing it or anything like that. And then it turned out so good. And we were just like, let's get it mixed. So we got it mixed really well. We got the footage edited really well. And then COVID happened, and we thought, fuck, we can't play. And then someone in our team thought, fuck, let's get that Brixton gig and we'll live stream that for the fans so that they can sort of, go to a gig. And I think we played it at 9 p.m. or something. So there's, people having a couple cans and hanging out with their mates, and they could watch it. And I guess it was sort of the closest thing to a DMA's gig that we could give people. And then that was a hit. And then we thought, let's release it. But we weren't going to release it until next year or something. And then we thought, look, there's not much going on. So yeah, I think COVID was the reason that it was released and turned into a live thing. We may have done it otherwise, but it certainly fast tracked it.
Yeah.
It certainly pushed it to the top of our agenda. It wouldn't have been, honestly, because if it hadn't have hit, then it wouldn't have been on the top of the list.
Yeah, sure.
But the fact that we recorded the last gig before COVID so well is kind of spooky, because we didn't know that was going to happen. Nobody knew, and it's kind of, I guess it was lucky, that we recorded that show, because otherwise we wouldn't have had anything to give to people,
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm glad it was the best show we've ever played easily. and we were all just so stoked with it afterwards, and the vibe was just, the energy was amazing. So I guess we were just very lucky to that everything went well that night, so that we had something to give to people, I suppose. But I don't know if we would have released it otherwise. I don't know, but we're definitely not going to release a DVD. We've been asked so many times about a DVD. You know, like I get messages every day. You can release it as a DVD, and I know people collect vinyl, but I don't know if anyone has a DVD collection anymore.
Yeah, it's all online, isn't it? It's all download, not download, live streaming, like off Netflix.
It's live streaming. So like people are like, when's the DVD coming out? It's like, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Yeah. I always look at the person that's asked that, and they're never like, they're always like 40 plus.
They look like me.
Yeah, they look like you. Yeah. Hey, you're gonna put that on DVD, mate. Is that coming out on Blu-ray? You know, that kind of thing. No, dude, no. Everyone, no one buys. It's like, I don't even have a DVD player.
No, I don't anymore. I've got a PlayStation 4, but you can just play a Blu-ray in there. I watch it.
Fully. Well, maybe one day, but I honestly think when it comes out, probably about 2 months after the vinyl comes out, it'll just be up on YouTube for sure.
Yeah, sure. I just got to ask you a quick one. One of your first hits was the song with the 37. Feels like 37.
Yeah.
I'm 47. So was it always down to, you didn't want to feel like you're 37? Because if I think I feel like I feel like 47 because I am 47. So it's like 10 years. I wish I could feel like I was 37.
Yeah, that's funny. The
watch what you say.
Yeah. No, I'm joking. No, it's we recorded our first album, like a lot of the first album and the first EP and shit. Like all of our first demos were done in a share house, like like a shitty apartment that was above a hairdresser.
Oh gosh, okay.
We used to go in there. We just used to smoke weed and record all day, and just hang out and party. And it was one of those houses that the door was always open, and you'd just be sitting there, and fucking 10 people would just walk in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just with a case of beer, and you just start drinking. It was one of those. I don't know how the fuck we ever lived like that, but I guess everyone does it.
Yeah.
So looking back on it now, it just sounds like fucking hell. But we that was number 37 Buckland Lane. So
okay,
it feels like home, and then feels like home feels like 37 Buckland Lane. So it's not an age, and it's also not a temperature, because people think, on the Google weather app, it'll say like it's 41, they'll say it's 20 degrees, but it feels like 17.
Yeah.
So often, like like basically almost every day in summer in Australia, it's 35 degrees, but it feels like 37 degrees.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think that's what that is as well, because it'll say feels like 37 on the weather app. So people think that it's that as well, but it's a spin on feels like home, and sort of a homage to that funny apartment that we spent so many hours in recording and doing all our first demos and stuff.
Oh, I'm glad you did. You went through that, because we all got to start somewhere, and it's
yeah.
I mean, what was it that spiked your interest in music in the first place?
I think I just can't remember if there was like a moment or anything, but I just remember really just loving music. I remember waking up really early every day to watch like the music channel, like the Pepsi countdown or whatever. Just watching whatever. I didn't care what it was. You know what I mean? Like could have been Christina Aguilera or fucking I'm a Barbie Girl by Aqua or some shit. I didn't care what it was. I just loved it all, And sometimes you get, like some, like Robbie Williams or something that was a bit cooler, but I just loved just listening to music, and it was quite a personal thing, like the way that I feel like that's how music is for everybody. Like the way that you appreciate music is just such a personal thing, and what it means to you. And I always just remember that I was just always so fascinated by it. And my dad played guitar, so there was a guitar around, but I didn't really want to play guitar. He was always trying to get me to play. He goes, "Oh man, I'll teach you something." And I was going, "No, I don't really care." And then I started playing the cello when I was like 9.
Okay.
Because I was at school and someone had a cello, and I was like, "What's that?" and they had one lying around the school that I could borrow, and I just played that. And I got pretty good. And then when I was about 13, I met a mate at school, and he was like, "Let's buy guitars and start a band." And I remember my dad asked me for Christmas, he going, "Do you want a guitar for Christmas?" And I went, "Nah." But he bought it for me anyway. And then I actually really liked it. It was sick. And then we just fucking, me and my mate just started writing songs together. And that was like a punk band. Like I was in like metal and heavy metal and punk bands for years, which is a genre I still really, really love. But none of that influence is allowed to like creep into DMA's. I've tried a couple of times, and Tommy's always like, "Fuck no." He's always like, "Go off and start a fucking metal band. Get it all out of your fucking system, and then come back here and we can write some proper music." And I was like, "All right." So like I spent a lot of time tinkering around in that, and then I found kind of like bluegrass music after watching a movie called "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" You know that movie with George Clooney?
Yeah.
Once that movie, I was just like, fuck. I was like, what is this? And I just got obsessed with like, bought a banjo and like a dobro, and and then I just got like really into like that kind of songwriting and harmony writing, because there's a lot of harmonies in that music, like vocal arrangements. And I think that, it's all really good songwriting, beautiful songs. And then I was playing at a folk festival in Newtown, which is the same suburb that we all kind of hung out in and lived in for a bit. We're 37 Buckland Lane, it's just around the corner from there. And I was playing this little folk festival, and I was playing my fucking it's called a dobro. It's like a bluegrass instrument. It's real weird. And Johnny came up to me. I'd never met him before, and he goes, "Man, what's that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a dobro." And he was like, "Oh, here's my CD." And he had a CD of his songs with him singing on it that he'd written. And I took it home and I really liked it. The next day I went over to his house, like the very next day, I went over to his house and we started recording and making music and stuff. And then he introduced me to Tommy, and that's kind of how I met those guys. So it's like, I guess, just pop songs on the radio, and then country music. And then that's how I met Johnny at a country music festival. And then I like a lot of songs that we've like, there's a song called Timeless, there's a song called Delete, a song called So We Know, I'm trying to think, a song called Cobra Cane. All those songs are written on a banjo. Yeah, heaps of DMA songs are written by me on like a fucking banjo. And then and then I take them to Tommy, and then he sings them quite in a very different way than I do, and then it turns into a DMA song. But yeah, I don't know. I just learning country music and banjos and stuff, all that shit. Even though it's like not really the coolest entry to music, but that's I got to say that's how I got into it.
Is that a well-known fact then, that you write the music, them songs on a banjo, or most of the songs? Is that well-known?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really, no.
I didn't find anything on that. I couldn't. That surprised me. So I'm pretty good at finding
heaps of music, heaps of DMA songs are written, or like a dulcimer, or like But yeah, like start off as like little bluegrass little songs, which is like, if you see the origins and then you watch them being performed at like Brixton, you wouldn't believe it. But the songs have very humble beginnings.
Mate, you should have a documentary or something where you go from the inception where you're there on a banjo to where you're playing at a big stadium or something. Once COVID's gone.
That's not a bad idea. Next time I write a song that I think could be honest, I'll film a little video of me, and we can. That's actually not a bad idea.
Okay, yeah, cool.
No, I got this little. Actually went to the music shop to buy some like banjo supplies, because I went there to buy like. How there's like a drum skin on a banjo? It's got like a skin on it.
Yeah.
I'm always breaking them. Like I'm always dropping them and knocking them over, and they snap. And I went to the banjo shop the other day, and I was buying the skin from this guy, and he convinced me to buy this ukulele that was like,
oh wow,
it costs 1,300 Australian, which is like £700-800 for this fucking ukulele.
Wow,
which is way too fucking much. I wouldn't recommend anyone spend it on that. And I've already written about fucking 10, maybe 15 songs on this thing.
Really?
And yeah, for sure. And definitely one of them, I actually sent one to Tommy the other day, and he was like, "Man, that's sick. Let's workshop it." So it's like I think maybe the next batch of DMA songs will all be written on the ukulele.
Oh wow.
Like honestly, because if the instrument's really small, it's way easy to just sit on the couch and fuck around. Like I can sit here watching telly, just fucking tickering away. You can't do that with a big jumbo guitar.
Yeah.
Gets in the way, and if you just got a little ukulele, you can just fucking walk around the house strumming away, and yeah,
There's an
they're
old
great for songwriting. You know?
there's an old actor or singer back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s called George Foreman. I don't know if you've ever come
Oh yeah, I've heard of yeah.
If you Google, he's got some of this. He's always like, I'm just cleaning windows, and he's on his little ukulele, and he's renowned for it. And he's just, I grew up on them films. You see, I'm not that old, but you know, I used to watch the black and white. But you know, if you YouTube it, yeah, George Formby, sorry, not George Foreman, George
Foreman ukulele. Yeah, I'll check him out. So he gets it. That's what I mean. Like it's like I think there's a couple of songwriters that get that. Like the even like Ed Sheeran, you know, like he plays his guitar. He's got like a little signature guitar. It's fucking tiny. It's like this big, little tiny guitar. And I think that's what I like about banjos and ukuleles is that you can really, they're just so portable and nice. You can just, and they sound, if you buy a nice one, then I know that George Harrison was obsessed with ukuleles towards the end of his life, and Paul McCartney played a ukulele at his funeral as a tribute to George Harrison's love for ukuleles. And so I think that there's even though banjos and ukuleles aren't the coolest instruments, and you probably never see them at a DMA's gig.
No.
They are an integral part of
songwriting.
Our songwriting, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fun. They're beautiful items. I mean, I've always been a fan. I think I've probably taken up more of your time. Can I just ask you one more question then, if that's okay? I know you've obviously, I know I don't know how long we had together, but I think it was like 30 minutes we've run over, but I just enjoyed talking to you. So I hope it's been, you've enjoyed it.
That's cool, man.
Can I just what is there anything then that, I mean, this is probably a daft question, and having spoken to you for the last 45 minutes now, I don't think there ever would be a time, but is there anything that would ever make music boring for you? Anything in life or anything that
That's a good question. I think, I don't know. Nothing has yet. Like nothing's made. I'm still very much, as far as music's concerned, I'm very easy to please. Like just a little guitar chord and like a beautiful melody, and I'm good done.
Yeah.
And I hope that it stays like that. And I do believe that music, the most beautiful thing about music, in my opinion, is repetition. Like how a chorus comes back and the second chorus is always hits you a bit better than the first one, because you get that repetition. And I think like little musical motifs, like the way that a melody will, a song will revisit a little melody that it's used earlier. And that, to me, is what I love so much about music, is that repetition. And the simplicity of music, is of pop songwriting, or not pop songwriting, but like rock and roll songs and the songs that we write, they're simple, and I love that too. So if I'm drawn to simplicity and repetition, I don't think I could ever get sick of it, because the things that would make something boring are the very things that I think are what makes music so good, are the thing that I love about music so much. So I can't see that ever happening. I hope not. But yeah, I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to a good song. So I don't know, man. I really hope that I don't get bored of touring, because I've heard that can happen to people. It is a very unhealthy lifestyle. Partying or not, even if you try and be healthy on tour, you're staying in a different bed every night. You're away from your family. It can be quite taxing, like psychologically. There's a lot of pressure. And if you add drinking and partying on top of that, it's just bad for your mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
So I might get bored of touring and partying. And that may affect how we conduct ourselves. I hope that doesn't happen. But I don't think I'll ever get bored of like the song, or bored of. I'll never get bored of Tommy's voice, that's for sure. Yeah. And I don't think that we're the kind of people that need to change that much to keep ourselves interested. Like we have changed a little bit over the years, but I think that I don't think that was out of boredom. I think it was because we're just curious, and I think we've pushed it as far as we can take DMAs. And I think everything is going to go full circle eventually. So I don't think people need to worry about us changing too much to sort of overcome boredom. But yeah, to answer you, I don't think so. No, and I think that anybody that really truly loves music will have the same answer. And if you get bored of music, then I don't think that, I don't know, you're probably not in the right, you're probably not on the right career path.
Yeah, or your mind's not working, or you've gone to excess on
100%. You know, who knows? People change. I might change. I might have a completely different answer, but I hope not, and I doubt it. I doubt it. You know, I love it too much.
Good. You know what I'm waiting for then is your little side project of doing some sort of bluegrass music at some point. I'll be keeping my eyes on the internet and see if
it's already started. It's already started. I've actually got a couple of side projects. I've got like heavy metal ones, like hip hop, and
I knew about them. I knew about one or two of the other ones, but I didn't. There's no mention of any bluegrass anywhere, so I don't know if that's.
Well, yeah, Johnny and I have always said to each other, that when we're, you know, when we're retired from music, we can just still hang out and like sit on the porch and play bluegrass music together, and everything will be cool. So you know, if it doesn't happen soon, maybe when DMA's finally throws the towel in, you get the bluegrass album from just me and Johnny. By the way, Tommy doesn't care for it at all. In fact, I think he hates it.
I've gauged that from talking to you. I just think that.
Yeah, man. But yeah, definitely. Like, you know, I think over the years you'll probably hear every genre of music coming out of us, but not in DMAs, like on our own. But I think one thing that we've learned from this last album is that we can't stray too far from the band, because we owe it to the fans that have been with us for the longest time to not do that.
Sure.
Not change. We'll change a little bit, but just because we're curious, and when you make a bit more money, you can afford to try out a few things that you've always wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, for instance, there's some elements of our live gig at Brixton that it's not that we've changed. We've always wanted to do that. We were just broke before, you know. So it's like a lot of people say that about bands. Hey man, you've changed. You've done this and that. And it's like, nah, man. That was the plan from the beginning. They just couldn't afford that shit. So I think that's something that we've done. But yeah, we're not going to change anymore. If anyone's
No, that's why I asked the question earlier. I think, you know, and it's just, but no, I'm everyone will be pleased anyway. So, and you know, whatever you do going forward after DMAs, it'll be great anyway. So, but it's a platform for you. You know, you got the DMA stuff. You're doing it, and you're exceeding at it. But whether you want to do any side projects that are completely different genres, you know, so be it. Do it. You know, what you want to do is what you want to do. You know, you can't please everybody all the time. But you want to make sure it's interesting for you as well, more so because you do it because you love it. It's not because you have to do it. You do it because you have a passion for it.
Yeah, 100%, man, for sure. Sick.
Cool. Okay, you've probably been messaged now, aren't you, by the interviews run over? Has Ian been messaged?
No, I hadn't noticed. I'm being messaged by people wanting to know when the DVD's coming out. Though, that's for sure.
Right, okay. Still about the DVD, seriously.
It's relentless, man. I had to turn my phone on silence, going bing, bing, bing.
Oh my goodness! It's a good job I didn't ask that question. I wasn't going to ask the question. But come Christmas, there'll be a DVD out, won't there?
No, 100%. Yeah, exactly. When the band's over and we're broke, I'm going to be releasing that goddamn DVD. That's for sure.
All right, mate. Nice one. It's been honest. I really enjoyed this. I really have.
Thank you, man. That's a good interview.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. And hopefully, fingers crossed. You know, you will be touring at some point, but you'll come to Wales. And
look, man, I think I was speaking to my friend who's he's a microbiologist, and he's also he works in the just like working on all the COVID stuff, and he was like, he was saying it looks like the UK is going to be fully vaccinated by July, and then Australia won't be vaccinated until December, which is because we're pretty slow on it, to be honest. But if that's true, then fucking might be over there by the end of the year.
Oh, good. And the fingers crossed you come to Wales, and I know you've got your gigs. There were the gigs penciled in for Wales, but I know that things change. I don't think anyway.
We too. Wales, Wales has been on that touring schedule since the beginning. We love Wales. It's crazy. It's a good. I like. It's good playing in. I like playing in countries. Like when we play in Wales and Scotland and Ireland, I think that one thing that they appreciate about us is that we play music that they love, but we're also not English. You know what I mean? So it's like music that they know and love very well, but we're not like, we're Australians. It kind of makes it kind of digestible in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just a theory that I've got, but so I think that it's always appreciated over there because we're Australian, but I might be wrong, but
no, it is. It's like when people. I mean, I could keep on talking. I don't want to take much of your time, but it's like it's true. People just assume or presume, or I assume it, whatever, that you are English, or British because the music and it's just Tommy singing, he's. But I know you're not. Obviously, we all know you're not. Fans don't know you're not. But anyone that's just coming to your music thinking, "Oh, these are for another Manchester band," or I don't know. Yeah, Manchester band.
Yeah, totally. Man, I spoke to some people after some gigs sometimes, and they're like, "What's your accent?" And it's like, "I'm Australian." And they're like, "Oh, you're Australian." And I'm like, "We're all Australian." And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You're taking the piss." It's like, "Oh man." They're like, "What? I've been a fan of you for years." So like, yeah, even some fans don't know, but it's funny. That's happened a couple of times, and it's always so fucking hilarious.
It's just great, man. Honestly, it's great. But no, well, thank you for your time, Mason. Honestly, dude.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And like I said, I'm looking forward to coming to see you in concert. It's at some point soon, anyway. So
I reckon it's going to happen sooner than you think.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll come and say hello or whatever. Yeah. Nice one.
Yeah, man. Sick. Come and hang out.
Yeah. All right, dude. But no, it's been great, man. So yeah, nice one, dude. You take care. Yeah.
You too, bro.
Cheers,
Sick.
Cheers, man. Thanks, man.